Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. Next up for Manchester United is another trip to Brighton and Hove Albion. This time it is in the League Cup and the last 16. Can we get through to the quarter-final stages of the Cup competition? It'd be great to do that. Obviously, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to bring in a bit of silverware this season would take off a bit of pressure off his shoulders. At Manchester United, the demands for silverware are always there. And whilst the League Cup isn't the main one that we want to be winning, the top ones, we want to be winning the Premier League and the Champions League again. To get a trophy and to get a bit of silverware would help Ole Gunnar Solskjaer maybe feel like he belongs a little bit more as Manchester United manager. He writes his name into history as Manchester United manager. It'd be an emotional moment for all of us Manchester United fans that have seen him as a player scoring all those goals, some iconic goals for the club as well, to then lift the trophy as Manchester United manager, even if it was the League Cup. I think I would probably cry. So obviously we have to prove this season we're not just a semi-final team. Cup competitions are important, but this game comes at a weird stage in the season. Obviously the transfer window is still well and truly going ahead and the deadline's ticking ever closer. We're hearing about potential moves for players coming into Manchester United and obviously leaving the club as well. It's easy to forget rather that there's a game going on, but there is a game going on and we need to be winning it as well. And it's a game that we can also use to give players a few minutes, get some of their fitness up. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said after the last game against Brighton that he would be looking to maybe ring a few of the changes. So we'll be looking at Manchester United's potential predicted 11 for the game against Brighton and Hove Albion. We'll be looking at Brighton and Hove Albion and what they can threaten Manchester United with in this game, because they too, if you look at their record in terms of their starting lineups in the League Cup so far this season, it looks like they may be changing formation and personnel in this game as well. So we'll be looking at Graham Potter's side and the kind of threat that they could pose for Manchester United. But a big game ahead and we need to win it. Before we get stuck into this preview, make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, commenting, sharing, and of course hitting that notification button as well. As if you need a reason to hit the notification button, but we have daily content. United Daily Live is live every single night at 10:30 PM UK time. And of course, when there's breaking news in terms of transfers, we will be live with that news as well. So you don't need a reason to hit that notifications button and subscribe. But if you did, there is a good one for you. Anyway, let's get stuck into this preview. Now, the last game Manchester United played against Brighton, it wasn't a pretty affair. Somehow we got a win right at the end of the game, and the 100th minute penalty after the referee had blown the final whistle. It's incredible. It's the kind of thing that you'd make up as a possible scenario as to how would VAR affect this situation. I remember thinking before, like, imagine, I'd love this to happen for United. Imagine we're playing Liverpool now, yeah. Imagine we're playing Liverpool, yeah. 0-0 at Anfield, last minute, yeah. And United have got the ball in Liverpool's box. We're trying to make something happen. We're trying to get a goal. I know we've rarely had our ball in Liverpool's box every time we've been Anfield in recent seasons. But let's pretend, yeah. So we get the ball in Liverpool's box. Something happens. We don't really see what goes on. Could be a foul. It could be a handball. We don't really see what goes on. But the referee doesn't give it. Liverpool hit us on the counter-attack, go straight down the other end and score a goal. They think they've got a last-minute winner. But wait, the referee's checking VAR. And there's a penalty given to Manchester United. That goal's ruled out and United have a chance to win it in the last... Like, you always think of these things potentially happening with VAR. But one of those scenarios actually came true. Something happens in the box, the final whistle is blown, and then the referee goes checks the VAR television screens. And I think that was a great example of VAR actually working. There's been a lot of talk about the handball rule, and I think it's a bit harsh when you look at Lindelof's against Palace, Everton's penalty against Palace. I think there's some harsh decisions that have been given in terms of handball. And, you know, I think we should be going for the ball to hand rule unless there's intent there, or unless it's an unnatural body shape, you get an advantage from it. If your hand's up here, even if it's an accident and the ball's hit you, it's a handball, you know what I mean? Your arm shouldn't be up there. If your hand's by your side or it's in a normal running position and it hits you, then it probably shouldn't be a penalty unless, let's say, you were in a running position, it hit your hand and it deflected the ball off the line and it went wide. Then it is a penalty because you've obviously gained a clear advantage from the use of your hand, even if it was accidental. So whilst I think intent is important, intent doesn't always come into it if you gain an advantage from it or you've got your body in a weird position. But some of the penalties we've seen given are bizarre. Now, I think this one was an example of VAR actually working. Maupay's hand being up here, it shouldn't have been up there. The ball hit it. He nearly deflected it into the goal. But obviously it was a stonewall penalty, and it was great to see Bruno Fernandes knew it was a penalty. He grabbed the ball, walked away from everybody and let the scene calm down and just focused on what he had to do. Harry Maguire was grabbing everybody up, just like, it's a penalty! It was quite funny watching it. But it was good to see that aggression to get the result and not just accepting it when we knew we had clearly been hard done by. Now, I don't think that should happen, but who knows, if we don't make a fuss of it, maybe the referee just walks off the pitch and we're left ruining that decision. I don't know. But it was a clear penalty. And we did get away with it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer admitted after that he was delighted with the result, but we got away with it. And, if you play badly and you get a result, you can take it, especially if it's like that. But we need to be wary because, we're coming up against Spurs next weekend. We can't afford to play like that again. We've seen what happened against Crystal Palace. Now, I think there are a few reasons for what's going on. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, would have to look at a few things as well. And maybe take some responsibility for himself. I think against Crystal Palace, should Paul Pogba have been starting when we had a Donny van der Beek there, that was quite clearly fit and ready to go. That was a little bit of a head scratcher. There's been a few other decisions, playing Victor Lindelof when maybe Eric Bailly was the right choice to come in at centre half. There's a few things, but then also Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could argue that, well, actually, and this is why I find it bizarre when a lot of people are going over the top with the criticism at the moment. When you look at our record over the last 6, 7, 8 months, we've been pretty good since January. We lost a few games, yes, but in the main, we've been showing signs of progression. Now, we've started this season slowly, and I think a lot of that comes down to the fact the players haven't had a pre-season. Whilst it's not an excuse for sloppy passes, silly mistakes, daft tactical decisions, daft selection decisions, whilst it's not an excuse for that, it clearly has had an impact. And when you look at the result, Wolves getting battered by David Moyes on Zoom, Bayern Munich losing this weekend, Manchester City getting battered. Teams that were involved in the latter stages of the Europa League, you have seen an effect in their performance. Now, I know a few of you are going to say, oh, Adam, Sevilla won, Inter Milan won. Yeah, of course, not every team's going to show the same thing. I mean, Man City beat Wolves last week, but there's still going to be an impact there on the players and their fitness, and we've seen that. I think someone that we've seen that more from is Paul Pogba, and he had coronavirus as well. Again, you can't excuse some of the sloppy mistakes that we're seeing from him. Sometimes you have to keep it simple, but again, you have to take that into consideration. So I think the team sheets will reflect that. We'll be looking to give players maybe some minutes, try and get their fitness up. We haven't seen much of Scott McTominay and Fred. Maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be looking to bring them in. I want to see Eric Bailly start again in this game. Harry Maguire plays every single game, so I imagine he'll start. But I want to see Eric Bailly given an opportunity because, we conceded 5 goals in 2 league games so far. It's clear our defence isn't good enough at this moment in time. And I think Eric Bailly improves that defence when he's fit and he's on form. He improves that defence. So I'd like to see him given another opportunity alongside Harry Maguire, and who knows, maybe come into the game on Sunday against Spurs, because he's a really, really good centre-half for me, and I want to see him given an opportunity. I can see Ollie ringing the changes though, and I can also see Graham Potter ringing the changes. He occasionally changes tactics. The last 2 games they've played in the League Cup, they've gone to a 4-2-3-1. You've seen a whole host of changes, the likes of Jahanbakhsh coming in, Gross coming in, a few others coming in as well. Let me just have a look at their team from against Preston in the last round. Their team against Preston in the last round had Gayakires, McAllister, Gross, Jahanbakhsh, Sanders, Proper, and that's a similar team that they had in the round before that as well against Portsmouth, which is their only win at home in the last 5 games. So whilst Brighton are a good side and they're playing good football, and before United beat them this weekend, they had won their last 3 games. A couple of the games came on the road, and their last home win was against Portsmouth. Either side of that, they haven't done particularly well, although they have played Manchester United and Chelsea in that and put up good performances as well. So we can't take this one for granted, that's for sure. We will maybe see the 2 teams matched up in terms of formations in this one, which may change the way the game goes. And in terms of predicted lineup for Manchester United, I'm going with Henderson in goal again for Manchester United. Then I'm going to go with Fosu Mensah at right back, Maguire, Bailly and Brandon Williams. Then I'll go with McTominay, Fred, Van der Beek in a 4-2-3-1 with Lingard out on the right, Marcus on the left and Martial up top. The reason I've gone with that is I know we saw Ighalo and James play against Luton in the last round, but I've got a feeling Ollie would want to see Martial score a goal. He hasn't got a goal yet, although he's only played 2 games. But I think Martial will be put out there, and Ighalo and Daniel James weren't even on the bench in the last game. I'm not sure whether that means they're going to start this one, but it seems a bit of a strange one if they're not involved in the matchday squad last time around and they're chucked straight into the first 11 this time around. I'd really like to see Donny van der Beek start for Man United though. He's a really intelligent player. Some of the positions that he occupies on the pitch are really good, and I want to see the players get used to playing with him as well. I think, you know, when you look at some of the 1-2s that Martial and Rashford do in and around the box, I think Donny van der Beek getting involved in some of them, you know, could look good on the eye, and it could also be very effective as well. He knows how to play in tight spaces. He's a quality player, and I do think we go into this game, you know, looking to have a little less pressure on us because it's not a league game, but also I think we'll go into this one and we'll probably make it a little bit more comfortable for ourselves as well. Brighton and Hove Albion obviously ringing the changes too. That may affect them. But I'm quite confident United will get a result, even if it is on penalties. But I'll go for a 2-1 United win in 90 minutes. And United going through to the last 8 of the competition. Although, let's be real, it's going to be a difficult game. We know that. But with that kind of 11, I think we'll manage to get a result and be through to the next stages. You take the likes of Martial, Rashford off with 20 minutes to go. You maybe bring Pogba on for another 20 minutes, help him get his fitness back up. Mason Greenwood on in the latter stages, get another goal. I think that would leave us with a little bit on the bench if we needed it. The likes of Mason Greenwood, Bruno Fernandes, etc. But also with a strong enough team out on the pitch as well to win the game at hand and to help players get minutes under their belts. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your predicted 11s, of course your predicted scores as well. Worried about this game or not? What's your thoughts on the team? Get them all in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing and joining if you can. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.